Great, so that's now rolling. So welcome to the 6th Let's Talk Life with Ben podcast. And today we have my friend Jack on. So following on from Danny's podcast again, we thought I'd bring someone else on the channel. So just to get started, Jack, I don't know if you want to start with how did we meet, and you can also introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, no bother. So hello everyone, my name's Jack. Before we start, I'd like to say this podcast is sponsored by Benny's Beans. We move. But yeah, no, me and Ben, or Spal as I call him, we've been mates coming up 11 years now in September. We met on the first day of school. We were in the same form class, and obviously form class is basically just, for those who don't know, I'm guessing it's just basically in the morning when you come in, be like, yeah, I'm here, and then you shut off to all your lessons. Yeah. We were in there, like we were in the same form class like 5 years. We didn't really speak, like we spoke to each other, but we didn't really like become mates till about year 9 and year 10. When we were in the same maths class and the same drama class, and we'd watch a drama every day and be in there. We'd have people who'd be in the school play, people who'd speak publicly at like school events, and then it's just me and Spal sat in there like Michael from The Office when he's in the handshake doing this. And then we just shot off there, started hanging out more, became friends, and then obviously when we got to college, we became even more close. And then since then, I can hold out for about the past like 5 years now. So
yeah, so I've got down as like a passion that we both shared, which probably where we came close, was wrestling, probably. So that's kind of how we met was, with drama class. There was the people, and then there was us, the sidekicks, the people who were there just because it was on a Friday, and
the extras, the backgrounds.
And I'm wondering, like, kind of why you think we get on so well, because we're really close. So I was wondering what kind of things you think we match up with.
Well, I think wrestling was a big part of it. When we became like really good pals over wrestling, and then I think it's because we both have a very similar sense of humor. You got me into footy, so I think we kind of bonded over football. And then I think like I said, humor. Like we have a similar sense of humor, and we both have similar music tastes for the most part. Apart from I despise pop punk, and it's your passion. So, but I think that's why we get on so well, because we both very chill and laid back.
Yeah.
I think that's why we get on.
Yeah, great. So to start, obviously, me and Danny went through his Crohn's. So what we'll talk about, for no one who's familiar with, is obviously the autism. And I'm wondering if you could kind of explain to someone who didn't have kind of an understanding of how kind of autism affects you, and kind of different ways you have to go about your day-to-day life.
Yeah, basically as a background, I have something called autistic spectrum disorder. It's basically it's just a brain development disorder that affects your communication behaviour, all ages. But it's most commonly diagnosed between the ages of being like a baby, so like 0 to 4, which is when I was diagnosed. Kind of basic traits that most people with autism have is communication and interaction with people is always a bit difficult. They have restrictive interests, and they have the same repetitive behaviour, which just means they have the same daily routine every single day. And if that routine gets changed or is affected in any way, they can have like a meltdown, or they won't understand why it's being changed. And then it's another thing is that it affects the ability to function in school, work, and other areas of life. So it's basically more of just interaction. It's more interaction and learning, which is the main issues of autism.
Yeah, excellent. And have you come across anything that you kind of struggled with in kind of maybe situations and social situations that maybe come to mind when you think of it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm like with my autism, it's very different because it is, like I said, it's a spectrum. So you'll get people on the spectrum who are mute and won't talk, and then you get people like Albert Einstein, who was famously said who had autistic traits, and Bill Gates, who similarly had autistic traits. I mean, with me, I'm a very extroverted person. Like, I'm very communicative. I like talking to people. But I do have difficulty like learning and understanding stuff.
Yeah.
But my issue is that sometimes when I was mainly in secondary school, I found it quite difficult to understand certain things, like people would say stuff to me or about me which I wouldn't understand. And I mean, I don't want to throw the word bullying out there, but it was a bit like,
Yeah.
it wasn't the greatest time going through school. And then I'd wonder like why would this happen to me? Is it something with me? Is it my issue? And for a couple of years, I kind of resented like having autism. Like if I ever didn't have autism, I'd be like every other life. I'd be normal. I'd be able to, like you do, hang out, go play football, and communicate with the boys. But then it got to like the end of year 11. I was like, I'm always going to have it. I mean, it's not going to change. I just need to accept who I am and move forward. But I mean, some of my struggles mainly is just more communication with people and just understanding stuff. I mean, it's a lot better now. Now that I'm a big boy, but that's kind of the issues I have with it.
So would you say that you kind of didn't really want to tell people about it maybe sometimes, or maybe you kind of shied away from opening up, like you say, because you didn't really want to maybe acknowledge it at some part of your life? And is there anyone that kind of encouraged you to either speak about it or made you feel comfortable and open to kind of talk about your problems?
Yeah, well, I mean, when it came to like hiding the issue, it was mainly because I didn't want to be judged. Because I feel like in that age during school, it's kind of an age where people don't understand. Like, I mean, kids can be awful sometimes, but that's because they don't understand and they don't. I mean, yeah, they don't understand certain issues. But I think getting to know people like yourself and a couple of other friends, it kind of made me open up more. I can tell people who I am, and for the most part, when people actually got to know me, they knew, oh, he's just got a small issue which he can't control, but he's still sound lad.
Yeah, great. And is there any maybe I wouldn't use the word tips maybe, but maybe any kind of guidance for anyone who's also kind of struggling with what you went through? And would you anything to go through with that?
Well, I don't. Well, this is the thing though, because I'm quite lucky because I'm able to be quite open with people. But obviously, other people with autism don't have that luxury. Like, they mentally can't like speak to people or understand certain factors. So I'd give tips to people who obviously have interaction with people with autism, whether it's the friends, it's the kids' mates, or just your peers in general. I'd just say be more open and understanding. Because especially in my case, because I mean, my girlfriend Rachel, she knows that I can be a little bit all over the place, but she's patient with me, and I think the key things to have with people with autism. I'm quite lucky as well because like our group, they're quite patient with me, because I do sometimes go on tirades or I have episodes where I'm just like, well, I think I'm in the right all the time. So it's just good to have people who are patient and understand like who you are basically.
Yeah. I can think of one in Magaluf where you were storming off with me ticket, but we won't.
There's I think there's a worse one than that. I think the worst one's the Cabos story. Can we talk about the Cabos story?
Yeah, if you want to talk
with the towel,
you can talk about it. I'm here to listen.
Yes, yeah, back. Yeah, so background. Me, Spow, and another mate of ours. We went to Cabos. Now, me personally, I hated the holiday. I absolutely hated it. The hotel smelt awful because we were right next to the drains. So every time we left the hotel room, there was just a smell, just feces and stench. It was just awful. And it got to day 6, and I'm just like, I want to go home, get through this last day. And then there was we had some people next door to us, and I don't know. One of the boys were like, "Oh yeah, we've let them use your towel," and I just went off on one, and I was fuming, and it basically got to the point where I ended up breaking the hotel door because I kicked it in. So this was the last day. We're like, "Oh no, we're gonna get charged like €100 deposit for the breaking the door." So we literally ran to the closest, like, I don't even know what it was. Was it just like a holiday shop or like a 99p store?
Yeah,
getting some super glue, trying to super glue it together. And we're sat there, I just sat there like this, like, please please don't check the door for him.
I can just remember the crunch of when you just slam through the door and there's just this whole bit of wood just went. Woof.
Oh god.
But yeah, so that's kind of a story of how Jack reacted there. But that wasn't helped by being teased. But that's not always an occurrence.
No.
So just to kind of end off with that topic is that, can you think of the last time maybe where you maybe had to speak to someone for advice? Obviously, because we're in lockdown, which we'll lead on to after this. But is there any times where you've really spoken to someone and opened up recently? Obviously, because we can't really do anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think most recently is, I guess I just talk to my girlfriend about it all the time. Because like whenever we have an issue, the pair of us, we just talk it out instantly, and it's good for me because she's helped me through lockdown, because we met right before lockdown, and then when all this happened, she's just been an absolute star. So it's good. It's been good to talk to her, and I feel open, and I feel happy. Sound.
Hey, professional.
But then also I've also, yeah, I know. Oh no. But then I've also just talking to the boys about it as well, because I think especially in lockdown, I think I feel like you need to talk to people. Like us as human beings, we need to, like, we're community, like we are community creatures, and we need to speak out and talk to each other. So I feel like when there's an issue, and I think like we talk all the time, like me and Spout talk every day. A couple of the other lads, we talk every day. But you put yourself out there and you talk, because if you just sit there and fester on your problems, you're just going to end up like falling into like you can never get out of it. And it will get better. It will get better. And I think part of the reason why it will get better is by communicating.
Yeah.
Like talking to people.
Absolutely, you're right. It is just the speaking out. Obviously, because we've got nothing else to do now anyway. If you just sit there and it's an endless cycle of every week's kind of the same, that's what we found was when you open up, when you do things with your friends, it can help kind of online. So leading on to kind of the lockdown things, just as a whole, how have you been finding it?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Right. First of all, man, non-stop for a year before lockdown. I come back, right, I've put on nearly 3 stone. And the relationship weight as an Aldiva, I'm looking at myself now, I can see the double chin. It's horrendous. And it's like simple things. Like we would, like us as a group, we'd go out like 2 or 3 times a week for food. And now I just want to get back to that as soon as possible, because we took that for granted so much. And it's just, I don't know, I'm just sick of it. I just want things to be opened up. I want everyone, I'm sick of the deaths. I'm sick of just being locked in my house all day. Sick of snacking constantly. I just want to go out, go to the gym, party with my boys, and just travel.
Well, at least the gym will be opening soon, hopefully, anyway. So
I'm honestly, I'm buying the protein powder ready for it. I'm buying the protein powder.
And what things have you been doing to keep yourself occupied apart from snacking? Obviously, anything other?
Yeah, well, I mean, Rachel got a dog, so we've had a dog occupy us. I've been doing my master's degree in production for TV and film, so I've had that to occupy me. I've a cheeky bit of Minecraft now and again, cheeky bit of pro clubs with the boys. We have a pro clubs night where it's just salt for days. But yeah, I've been quite lucky because I've had stuff to occupy me. But it's in the same vein. It's like I want to get back to normal as soon as possible, because I miss my job, and I miss just normal interactions with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there any series or movies you've been watching over the last couple of months that you can recommend?
Right, I've got a list. This is everything. This is everything I've binge watched. Yeah, over lockdown: Breaking Bad, the US Office, like all 31 seasons of The Simpsons, Misfits, Fresh Meat, every single Pixar film, every single Studio Ghibli film. We've just finished WandaVision. I'm getting like scorned for content here. I mean, we're watching, I'm on Breaking Bad, not Breaking Bad, sorry, Pinky Blinders and Futurama now, but it's like I've just been binging constantly.
And what did you think of One Division as a subtopic?
That was good, yeah. It was good. I like the flow of it. It was good. Looking forward to the more of the Marvel stuff, to be honest. Because I think it's every single week now, or every other week they're going to be uploading content, which is good for the past year. People being starved with it, and I think the MCU was. I think even fans who like even people who don't like know the comic books, like they're watching like a Marvel film just for the action of it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. No spoilers, but it is a good link up. But everyone only watched like the first episode or two and then didn't like it. But you got to give it time. That's what.
Yeah,
that's
you got to give stuff time. You got to get stuff into it.
Yeah. And kind of what's your plans? I've got for summer 2021. Obviously, if nothing happens with lockdown and extending, but what's your plans for the following year?
Well, I don't think we'll be going away. And I can't either because I have my master's degree up until August, so I don't think I'll be able to do that. But I think my main goals this year is to finish my degree. Excuse me. Go out more with the boys, like go and party or whatever. Just recreate some memories, sit in a field, get some Cotterberg, bang on some AJ Tracy, and just chill. And me and Rachel, we're gonna plan to go to London at some point in the summer as well. So that's my plan. A pretty mild and chill summer, I'd say.
And I think I'll lead it to kind of what's the main three things that you're going to work towards for the end of this year? Is there anything that obviously you've got your masters, haven't you? And probably you'll want to go to the gym, but is there anything else that you kind of want to work towards before the end of this year?
Yeah, I mean, guess learn how to cook more than just chicken. And I guess learn another language, that'd be cool. I mean, I know a little bit of Italian. Arrivederci, buongiorno, ciao. And I guess just eat and just maybe go for more walks because you already go for walks enough as it is. But just get more touch with nature.
Yeah,
I guess.
Great, and obviously you're an expert in the Italy department as you went to Rome, didn't you? So yeah. So you're well up to date with that.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah.
But
Rome, yeah. it's kind of a meme in our group, isn't it? Really, because I just woke up one morning and I just decided to go to Rome. But it was good, because when I did it, it was like I did it purely on my own. I just wanted to go. Have I disconnected?
No, I think you're all right. I think. Oh,
my internet paused. I was buffering. Yeah, no, I went to Rome and it was like the first day it was rain, it was pouring, and I don't know why. I went outside like St. Peter's Basilica. I just looked up and I just felt happy because I traveled to a country of my own. I didn't really. I knew a bit of the language, but like I felt happy, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Another thing as well to go off, I do kind of want to, like, maybe not this year, but next year, I want to travel more, like see more places. We'll get into that later in the podcast, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. And then, so obviously we have a kind of a segment around kind of the mental health side of things, and that was one of the main reasons I created the podcast. So we've got kind of, have you got kind of any advice for anyone who maybe is struggling with any mental health issues, and what advice you would give them personally?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I mean, I said it earlier, communication.
Yeah.
I think I've learned this. Obviously, you're an expert in this, and you've set up the podcast, which is just a great platform to discuss about people's lives and just express yourself and express your own emotion. But I'd say communication is key. If you just keep stuff bottled up inside you, it's not healthy. It's negative. It's going to fester, and I would just say just get out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Express yourself.
Yeah, I found with this podcast as well, people can kind of come to me for advice as well, which is quite nice. And again, if there's been any kind of, I know you've mentioned obviously speak to your girlfriend about kind of advice if you need to speak about anything, but kind of, is there any situations where you maybe didn't want to approach it by speaking to someone, and how did you deal with that? Did it get worse, or did you think of any other ways you could overcome it?
Well, sometimes it's like, especially it affects. I've just preached there, not to sound hypocritical. I preach there about communication, but I've sometimes had difficulty expressing myself in situations like I'll either avoid it or won't speak about it, and it's a bit of kind of my own understanding personally of just like functioning around the situation, getting bonging it around like it's ping pong. But then when I get round to it, maybe I just come out and just talk about it and address it. But yeah, that's some of my issues I have with it sometimes.
Yeah. I found making lists help as well. If you can jot some things down, because you'll find kind of when I was reading up about sort of things once I start the podcast, was that people find when you get to kind of the time you're going to sleep, you have like an hour or so of your brain switches onto the things that are negative. So if you can jot the things down and kind of approach them in the next day rather than worrying about them then, that was one great thing in mind. And again, so you've mentioned your masters. So I'm wondering, what is your long-term goals for career-wise? What's your dream job that you're working towards?
Oh, I mean, I'm interested in my camera work. So I initially wanted to be a cinematographer, and I'm still probably going to go down that path. But I mean, if I was a producer, I'd be happy. I did a lot of directing on my undergrad course, so if I get into directing. But I mean, end goals would be either producer, director, or a cinematographer. And then do a couple of projects for BBC, and then eventually get over to America, do some projects in America, and then I'll do a Quentin Tarantino, maybe. But that's kind of like my end goal, really. Just make the marketing industry, make some content that I hope people would enjoy, stories that not only I would like, but they would like as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And again, any family goals? Any children on the horizon? Sorry, Rachel. And and kind of maybe even moving out, maybe finding a house. Are there any long-term goals for that?
Yeah, being Rachel, the female. Well, yeah, we're gonna government's announced a whole £5 or 5% deposit on a house, so we'll be saving up to get a house hopefully. Maybe have a couple kids, hopefully by the end of the decade. Nothing yet. The dreams to have two, but if I have 3 or 4, I mean it's whatever.
Okay, no props. 3, 4, 5, 6 doesn't matter. Jack's.
It's just yeah.
So we've got what I did with Danny was I spoke about some topics that maybe people recommended through Instagram, and I thought I'd get one because obviously you've been to university, and we'll just start with that. So the first one was how challenging and isolating university is. And obviously kind of if we can discuss how you felt when you first went to uni. Did you have any anxiety, any decisions when looking for a course? What was your overall feel at the start?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think for my own benefit, I wanted to stay local. So I was thinking initially when I was looking for a course, I was thinking of either Teesside, Sunderland, Newcastle, or Northumbria. Um, I eventually settled on Teesside because I mean I knew the area. My mum used to be a former lecturer there, so and especially for what I want to do, Teesside was well known for having one of the best courses in the country in my field. Um, so I mean, I guess the anxiety, I guess, with joining the course was obviously you're entering a place, you're walking in there with a bunch of eyes staring at you, like, like you'll have some mush go with a big beard, and then you'll have some like quiet lass from like Leicester doing like this. Like it's a bit all over the place, but that was purely for my first year. I mean, but obviously once you get in the swing of this, um, you'll be fine. Honestly, complete when your course. I mean, one of the advices I would say is if you join a uni, join a club or a society. I joined American football in my second year, and I've made some friends for life. I was able to captain the game. I was able to captain a couple of games. I led the offense a couple of times, not very well, but I led it. And we were able to beat our division rivals in Sunderland, and then we were able to get to the playoffs, which is something our team's only been able to do 3 times in the past 10 years with our car. But I mean, that's what I would say. I'd say join a class you're passionate about, and also just go out on nights out. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going out, like either going to your student union building or just going out, as you know, from home or that are in the area and just going out meeting people. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and you benefit from it as well.
Yeah, that's great. And kind of, what are your overall? So you kind of come at the end of it now. So what's your overall impression or opinion on university and the university life? Did it live up to expectations? And was it better than you expected? What's your kind of overall thoughts?
Home, so I didn't really get to live the full, uni experience of the dorms and stuff like that. But I'd say, from an educational standpoint, if you want to get somewhere in the field, it's a huge benefit. Like most companies now are looking for people with degrees, and it's like unless you've got a skill, like degrees will be the next thing to look for. Um, I'd say this year, especially with the lockdown, being a bit challenging doing online learning. And I know obviously it has been easiest for most people who's been there, especially people who are in the first year and have basically got locked down in September and October when they arrived at uni. But I'd say for me personally, before lockdown, I'd say uni was probably one of the best times of my life, to be honest. Just going out there, meeting people similar to me, the same passion as me, but also being able to meet people with different ideals and stuff, and being able to like discuss different ideas and ideals and people's opinions. And I think that's important.
Yeah,
because I feel like these are the places where our generation is going on to be like the most well-educated, most intelligent group of like people in the past, like in the like generation wise. Um, but yeah, I'd say it lived up to the expectation. Yeah.
great. And kind of with uni comes the deadlines, obviously, for your coursework and your dissertations and stuff. So I can imagine it can be quite isolating and worrying when people have a lot of things to work towards. So what did you do to help you meet deadlines when you were doing your work?
Well, I mean, I was kind of bad because I kind of had I kind of had a trend where there was one module every year which I left to last minute.
Jack,
And it's just one of them moments. No, I don't mind. I've got my degree now. Got that 2-1. Don't care. But I mean, it happened. It happened every year. There was always one module every year, which I always had issues with. I left it to the last minute every time, and I didn't even know why. It just happened. It was like written in stone. It was written in the stars, right? But my thing was with the station is I picked my topic as fast as I could. I researched it as fast as I could, and then I had it done by week 2 or week 10.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks before, then I was able to make my amendments to it. And that happened with most of my modules apart from the F1 every term. So that's my thing. My advice is don't do me. Don't leave everything to the last. Don't leave one module to the last minute because it'll bring your overall mark down. I'm lucky because I know what I talk about sometimes. But I mean that's also part of my autism as well, because I would always leave one thing to the last minute and then I get stressed about it. But I'd say find a topic that you're passionate about, get it done as fast as possible, and then leave yourself time to edit it, make amendments.
Yeah, great. And was there any moments in uni where you maybe wanted to, maybe the work was getting on top of you and you might have wanted to kind of pack it in or change direction, or was it the full kind of 4 years you were dedicated to that?
Nah, it's first my undergrad course. I was just fully set, fully made my mind up. Just went like straightforward on a train, on a National Express. Just straightforward, straight line. The master's degree now, which I'm still in the middle of doing. I'm halfway through the module now. That's a bit more challenging. I'm rolling my eyes a bit like, oh god. However, though, it's obviously they don't give master's degrees out for free. They don't just hand it to you. You have to work for it. And I'm liking it because I'm able to challenge myself. And the fact that it's a bit difficult, it's bringing me up because I've kind of developed a chip on my shoulder from, I mean, because I did terrible in school. I came out with 2 GCSEs, had to resit my maths like three or four times, and so from that point I've kind of gained a chip on my shoulder. And my dad has a saying called it's like basically the analogy is once the penny starts dropping, you start understanding, you start learning things, and then you'll catch up.
Yeah.
So like there's people in school, this is like me. And then obviously I got to college and it's just been like that. And then it's got to uni. And I've just called massively. So now in this master's degree, I'm liking the fact I'm able to challenge myself and push myself to the limit.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I thought, like I said, I thought it'd be better for you to talk about this kind of discussion because obviously you've experienced it. And then the second one was for anyone that was feeling like they were lagging behind or failing because they haven't got everything together at 21/22. And kind of, is there any situations where maybe you did feel like you were kind of falling behind, maybe in a social aspect? And what was that?
Well, I mean, it hasn't really been in uni. But obviously, like I said previously, just then, it was more so school. Like everyone was in college and everyone had, oh, I'm doing my A levels in geography, English, and then there's me doing my level 3 BTEC in graphic design. So I kind of felt like a little bit inferior to my other peers.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's like life's basically a race, really. And I see this thing as I'm a pretty positive person nowadays. And there's all under the tunnel. And it doesn't matter again. Unless you saying, and if anything, especially in my case, my shoulder was like, I'm not going to be left behind in the catch up. And then that's pretty much what I did. I caught up, got dissertation stars in both my BTECs I did in college, one into my undergrad degree, got a 2-1.
Yeah.
And it's quite funny because my mum and dad said when I was a little kid, like I couldn't even pick up a pencil. That's how bad it was. And then here I am now, sat there with a 2-1 in TV and film production. Going to get about to get, and I'm not going to have it before I'm age 22. But that's in my case. But like you said, you don't have to have your life together. You're only 22. Yeah. Like you've still got time. You've still got time to pick a career, make your own decisions. And it's an interesting situation because you've got people who are 40 who still haven't made their mind up on what they want to do, and you've got time basically.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So I was like, I'd note down that again. We've got plenty of time. We're still, as an adult, we're not that far into it as being an adult. Only like 4 or 5 years. So, yeah. Like you say, everything happens at its own pace and everyone's path's different. So just because someone might have a house and a nice job at our age, well, we don't have to have that same path at the same time. And just don't compare yourself to that, because like you say, your short-term goals might mean more to you than their long-term goals, because everyone's different. And you've just got to make sure that if you really compare, and that your main priority is yourself and not other people, because you find yourself when you compare and trying to be other people, it brings you down because you're not at that level. So if you can get the kind of short-term goals and short-term...
live like...
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, I was going to say, like, live your life, live your movie. Don't compare yourself to anything else. If you can wake up in the morning, right, and set yourself some tasks and set yourself some goals, and if you complete them, that's fine. Like me, I'm still living with my mum and dad. I'm paying rent. Obviously, you're living with your mum and dad, so you're paying rent. Like, there's people our age who have their own flat.
Yeah.
Have their own crib. But obviously, I don't know the age range of the people who watch this, but I imagine they're in the same demographic as us. Like, live your life, live your movie. Like, if you can wake up in the morning and feel happy and move forward, just be proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last section is the same one that we're going to do with Danny. So we're going to have to choose between us three things to take on our trip. And I replaced one of them for a wrestling match that we can watch rather than a movie. So if you want to go first with one...
We can do both.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So if you want to go first for... So the topics I've got: food, drink, wrestling match to watch, destinations, and music artists. So we'll start with food.
Right, okay.
I'll start with food. What suggestions have you got?
Well, I do like my food. I mean, we're double tune short on that, at least for the time being. How are we doing it, though? Are we doing it like starter, dessert, and main, or are we just doing whatever food you want?
Yeah, we can do starter, main, dessert. So you can pick one of them that you want to... So we can pick one each, and then we have to decide on one.
All right. Well, like, main, boom, straight from the TGI, banging meal. Get some chips on the side, some onion rings, no coleslaw, dead food.
That's fine. And I think for a starter, I'll go for a starter, and then you can decide a dessert. A starter. I do like wings, you see. I said this to Danny. I do like wings. So I think we'll take some wings.
Wings are banging, like.
And then a dessert.
Yeah. Are we doing it? Are we having spicy wings or?
Ooh. Yes, we'll go for buffalo wings.
All right, okay. Man's gonna need some milk. I can't handle my spice. The dessert. I don't know. Do you go for a cheesecake? Do you go for a coconut cream pie? Do you go for a chocolate? I'm thinking chocolate fudge brownie. You know.
I could take that.
Nice easy dish.
I'll do that. So then we'll go to drinks. So I'll start. I'll take a bottle of rum. To drown the sorrows. What about you?
I'm taking a big old case of beer Moretti, the most elite beverage on the planet.
Lovely. And then we have to decide on one. So I'm not taking Malibu. There's no Malibu coming with us.
Right, I'll throw it out there. Watermelon Volvic, 0 sugar. Hydration is key.
That's a decent shout, to be fair. I haven't had that in a while. I'll give you it. Since you're the guest, I'll give you it.
We dream.
Now, so it said the movie. So for wrestling match, we have to pick a specific one that we're gonna have to watch for the week. So obviously we'll have 3. So what comes to your mind that is an instant classic in your mind?
I'll go with... This is hard, you know. I'm just thinking, do I want a title match or do I want a gun match? I'm thinking Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, but I have to go with Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. I have to go with that.
Unreal.
That was when I was only a wrestling fan for like I only started watching them in 2008, and then a year after that I watched that, and I just thought it was the greatest thing of all time, honestly.
I think I'll pick. Oh, I think I'll go for Sasha versus Bailey to take over the ladder match one though, not the 3 count. Was it Brooklyn?
What you mean? What are you on about the Iron Man match or the one where she hit the fucking oh god, P's and Q's? Sorry, are you on when she hit the poison rana off the top rope?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the Brooklyn one.
Brooklyn, yeah, Brooklyn. So we have to decide on one.
We got a match. We got a title match. I feel like we have to go with a tag team.
Okay.
So I'll throw out Dudley's versus Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian at WrestleMania 17 in tables, odds, and chairs match.
Yes, the creation of TLC. Yeah,
the dream.
Absolutely, no doubt about that one. I can't argue with that because I love the Hardys. So,
man, it's just honestly, my dream in life is just to hit someone with a 3D. Honestly, can we do that first night back out? We'll just find some scrub here, just get them with a 3D, hit the sign.
And then we've got 3 destinations to visit. So, any dream places that you really want to go to?
Yeah, I'll say I would put. I've got a couple, but I think the first one is Reykjavik in Iceland, see the Northern Lights. Go to guy like sitting near the hot springs in there. That's what I would say.
Yes, I'm gonna go for. I think I'll go for Sydney, Australia. Nice weather.
That's a sound pick. I'll go with that.
So you can have the last one.
The last one each.
You can have the last one since you're the guest. You can pick somewhere.
Well, I'm just thinking because like I want to say Tokyo in Japan, but I'm gonna go with it's a situational one. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay in Miami purely to watch the Super Bowl.
That's fine. I'll take America. That's fine. Nice weather. So then this would be where we contrast because music artists. So you're like a grime lover, aren't you? Do you like grime?
Yeah, kind of. I'm a bit all over the place, mate. 1 minute I'll be listening to like Biggie Smalls.
Yeah.
Then the next minute like Metallica. So I'm a bit all over the place.
So if we had to take 3 CDs or 3, would you say artists to listen to? Because sometimes we've got more than 1 CD. So if you had to pick an artist that you could listen to, who would you go for?
I'll start with Gorillaz. I love Gorillaz so much.
Okay, no problems. Let's have a think about. Do I have to kind of go for your music taste as well, or can I just?
No. We can have it be a mashup. We can have it be schizophrenic as.
I'll go for. I didn't say them last time, but I think they're pretty solid around the board. Blink 182. I'll go for solid albums.
This is the antithesis. Sometimes our music tastes we argue because there's been times when we've been in the car and he's had some absolute tripe on, and I'm just sat there like this. You all right?
They're not like depressing. They're upbeat.
No, but like I'm not really a big Blink 182. Sleeping with Sirens, that's the worst one. Rachel likes pop punk now, so I have to listen to it. But I absolutely just.
Nah, I'm not.
Are we picking the last one? Are we picking between us or?
You can pick, my man. You can pick.
See, I kind of want to go with. I want to go with Led Zeppelin, but like, I don't know. You know, give us a suggestion.
Well, that you might like.
My brain.
That you might like. I'm trying to think what you listen to. See if you put us on the spot now. You just pick who, right? If you got in your car now, right? Who would you listen to? Who would you put straight on?
Probably Led Zeppelin.
Oh, well, there you go then. There's your third one. And then we'll end up with movies. Then we'll add the last one in. So I'm gonna go first, and you can have a franchise. So if you have Harry Potter, you can have all the Harry Potters. So I think I'll go for a comedy, American Pie. Get a laugh.
Standard,
all of them are funny, pretty much. So that's what I'd go for.
I will go with. I'll go for my all-time favorite film, which is Goodfellas.
Okay. So then, if you suggest a third film,
I'm gonna throw a curveball in there. Kung Fu Panda.
Oh my god!
It's actually
well, if you want to take it,
banging film.
You think I'll enjoy that for a whole week, then you can have that as your third one.
What money screams it? Nah, but I'll say just because of the amount of content we can have, I'll just go with the MCU.
Yes,
because we can just watch stuff. Bang on Guardians of the Galaxy. Bang on Infinity War. I can say all the Thanos lines within the film.
Solid shout. I rate.
Yeah.
So that comes to the end of the podcast. So as I always end up with is, what if you could say anything to the listeners, any advice or anything, what would you go for?
Honestly, there's light at the end of the tunnel. If you're having struggles, just talk about it. Speak to your friends, speak to your boys, speak to your parents, speak to anyone like you're close with. Let yourself talk, but put yourself out there. Be open to ideas. I don't know, just be kind. I'm hoping after lockdown we start being kind to each other and we're more open to ideas. I mean, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
The NHS. Follow me at Jack Mulcahy. Mulcahy 1999 is my Instagram. At Jack Mulcahy is my photography Instagram. So I want some pics, face shots. Did want to spout.
I was about to mention that actually. I was about to say. So obviously you created the logo, so I'll give you a shout out for creating the podcast logo. There you go. That's your 1 minute of fame. And
yeah, you owe me. I am this podcast.
But that's great. Thanks for coming on, Jack.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks,
really appreciate it. And thank you for listening.